If you want to find the light, you must be persistent. This is the message that is coming to me. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the ring light that I use to light up my face so that I can come to you and I'm visible. Now, unfortunately, I bought a ring light from the dollar store, and it's one that requires me to be so persistent in pressing this button that turns the light on, and I have to turn it on almost like 100 times before it actually stays on. Consequences of having to buy a cheap ring light, and also a lesson at the same time to be persistent. If you want that light in your life, you have to really keep your attention directed towards it and be persistent that you want that divinity within you to guide you within your life. So I think this is the message that I want to impart in this video, because I find that right now we are in the state of society where we are expecting some sort of catalytic event, something major that's coming, because I watch all these videos on people who are much more intuitive and much more psychic in their abilities, and they're all giving guidance that something cataclysmic is coming, something major that is going to disrupt society, maybe similar to the scamdemic that we faced a couple of years ago. But we know that there's these forces out there that are orchestrating things in order to keep or hold on to their grips of control so that they can keep humanity in the state of enslavement. And unfortunately, many of us are now reflecting on this and wondering, how do we handle a situation like this? We may not be prepared. We may not know what to expect. For those that are prepared, hopefully they are, all is good and well with them. The light is already turned on. But what about the many of us that are not yet ready for this? That may be in a position where we're not prepared for something really catalytic type event where it just leaves us in that state of fear and anxiety. So these feelings of fear and anxiety are all coming up because anytime there is something uncertain in the future that could come to pass, it leaves us with these feelings of, how do I cope? How do I manage with this? And there's a lot of talks about a financial collapse. So where will it leave people in terms of being able to procure the things that you need if you don't have access to finances? How will you manage? So there's a lot of fear and anxiety kind of bubbling up these days because of all these talks of something cataclysmic that is about to happen. And a lot of this talks is about November 2024, December 2024, going into 2025. And a lot of this is leaving us with these feelings of fear and anxiety. However, this is exactly where these forces want us, because when you go down the rabbit hole, then you understand that it is through fear and anxiety that they manage to orchestrate control over us. And some of what we see on media is always trying to hype up fear and anxiety. So these are the moments when we need to take that step back, because I found myself caught up in this fear and anxiety, feeling like, oh no, I haven't prepared, I don't know what to expect. And it leaves me with this feeling of really feeling vulnerable to a potential cataclysmic event. However, this is the time and this is the message that sort of came to me as I was thinking through these things and being caught up in this web of feeling those feelings that come up with that anxiety, feeling of unpreparedness, not knowing how I'll navigate something like this, and being concerned that if the world turns into chaos, what if people forget the values that uphold us as compassionate beings? What happens if things turn into chaos? And this is a time when we need to turn to that divinity within. Turn to that divinity within, because it's that divinity that will help guide us out of this situation. And it's really a time that we need to tap into that faith, because if we can bring in that conscious awareness of God, we can really anchor in that spirit of God within our lives. And if collectively we can start to do that, then there's no need to fear, because there is a great need for the system to come down. Because as many of us know, this is a very tyrannical structure that has been created that is enslaving a lot of humanity and has been holding back a lot of technologies and healing modalities that are capable of transforming humanity's lives for the better, that is capable of transforming the earth into a much more better place. Now, many of us who've been down the rabbit hole, we understand that there are a lot of potential free energy sources. We understand how the water systems have been contaminated by these forces, but there's also the potential to have these water sources being regenerated and to be returned to their original state where they are conducive to our life. And now is the time that these structures really fall apart, and these structures that have been holding us enslaved and subject to their forces that keep us in this perpetual hamster wheel where you end up working your ass off only to pay off medical bills, only to be a slave to the system, having your financial wealth being inflated away. It's just a totally messed up system. It's a system that will not end up serving future generations, and that is why there is such a great need as well for something that serves people. And I'm not talking about the new world order that they keep trying to push down, that they want to try and hold on to their grips of power so that they can control humanity. But I'm talking about a society that is completely different, that respects the sovereignty of people, that helps to uplift people and allow for every human being to be taken care of and no one to be left out. That is the world that we need to gravitate towards, and that is what we need to turn to, that divinity within us, to recognize that many of us are caught up in this trap into this matrix system that is really a systematic overlay of an organic reality, that they've been distorting our perception of what life should be, trying to control us, trying to almost keep us away from that divinity within, keep us away from true spirituality. And that is where I have a problem with religion, because I feel like religion has created this division among society, not having people recognize that the divinity is within, and creating all these conflicts between nations, between people. And really, this is the time to recognize that a lot of these structures, they need to fall apart. They need to come apart so that people can start waking up and recognizing that a better life is possible, and that there are solutions that can solve a lot of the health problems and crisis that is going on so many places in the world. And if we can just have our sovereignty returned to us and not be subject to these controls, not be manipulated through media, not be manipulated through getting involved in conflicts that have absolutely no purpose but to make humanity's life worse, to put us into states of enslavement. So this is the time when, even though it may fill you with so much of fear, I think we really need to come together as people and recognize that there is that spark of divinity within us, and we need to turn to that divinity to help each and every one of us, lead us out of this, so that we can allow for the birth of what many call the new earth, a new earth that uplifts every single individual that is living on this earth and leaves no man out from a truly uplifting type of society, a society that has those undertones of those values of compassion, of love, of respect for every other person that has been created, and respect for the earth as well. So this is the message that I'd like to leave in this video. So if you're feeling those deep feelings of fear and anxiety and wondering how are you to navigate these uncertain times when polarization is so high, where the potential for conflict, civil war, goodness knows what, there's so many things that are going on right now, and there's so many people that are calling for something really catalytic. So that is what this video is meant to inspire and hopefully give you with that sense of hope. As always, if any of this content resonates with you, please do like, share, and subscribe. And with that, I'll see you in my next video.